Hello all, Alex here with Tech Corner, here to talk to you about some of the features I wish Apple would have added in iOS 26 and iPadOS 26. This just recently came out to the developers in June. Public version will be out in July, mid-July. If you are interested in installing this on your device, I would recommend installing it on a secondary device and not a primary device, as it could cause glitches or have apps you have on your phone not work. So always recommend using a secondary device and not your primary. So one of the first features I'm going to talk to you about is enabling a guest mode on the iPad. This is something when you're paying for a $2,000 device, up to $2,000 device, it'd be really nice to be able to add a guest mode. So that way you can hand your iPad to someone and you don't even have to go in on your actual account and lock all the apps you want people not to get access. Just be able to flip a guest mode, hand it to them, let them do what they need to do. Once they flips back to your account, it just wipes whatever they did in the guest mode and you're good to go. This would be an amazing feature to do on the iPad. Next thing, let's talk about files. So files has definitely improved. If you haven't checked out my video regarding files, I did a whole video on kind of a little bit of how to customize folders and the differences in files. But one thing I keep wishing they would add is a way to preview content within files without having to actually download it. Because right now, in order to see like a video or a photo or something like that, you actually have to download it on your device, and then you can actually see it. But it would be really nice to be able to stream it or preview it without actually physically downloading it onto your device. Now the Photos app, I use a lot, and there's a lot of features I wish they would add to this. To me, it's like if you're trying to make, at least for the iPad, it'd be really nice if you have the Mac version, make it the exact same for the iPad. Don't make it different, because it just makes it so much easier. So one of the key things I would love to see in Photos is being able to add keywords to a photo. This currently you cannot do on the iPhone or the iPad, and this is something I use all the time, and it would be really nice to be able to do it right within the app and not have to go to my Mac in order to add my keywords to my photos. Another feature is being able to set my keyframe when I have a video. This, of course, you can do on the Mac, but in both the iPhone and the iPad, you can't do this. And this would be really nice if there's a keyframe in the video you want to use as your main image for preview image. It'd be nice to add that in there. Now, one other thing they haven't added for a long time is if you use smart albums, this, for some odd reason, is not available in both versions on the iPad and iPhone. And if you go to your smart album, it just shows up blank. There's no photos or anything in it. And you would think they would add that as a thing in Photos, and I'm not sure why Apple's never done that. Finally, a cool feature that isn't on any other devices is a way to archive like photos that, let's say, you don't want to have show up in your main library, but aren't photos you're like, okay, I want to hide these. It's more just, hey, I don't want to have to see them in my main library. Like, for example, if you take screenshots or web clips or something like that, it'd be nice to just have a folder or album called Archive, and they could just go there and you just go to the archive folder to see that content, but it's not in your main library. And that would be a really neat feature. It just kind of declutters your library with all those screenshots and stuff you might not want to see all the time. Next app I use a lot is Notes, and there's definitely some love I wish Apple would add to Notes. The first one is being able to lock both Notes with attachments and an actual folder within Notes. Unfortunately, right now, the only way you can lock a note is just a note by itself without any images without any attachments. I don't know whether or not you can actually lock a photo that has like an image in it or not. But if it has an attachment, you're not going to be able to lock it. So that would be a nice feature to have in Notes. The next thing is being able to embed like numbers into Notes, so you can actually organize your data a lot cleaner. Because right now, tables in Notes is pretty much atrocious. It's really clunky, it's hard to use, there's no way of sorting it, and it would be just really neat to be able to embed a numbers file in there because again, Numbers is part of Apple. Just integrate that with Notes, and you can then have a whole database you want, and you can just organize it sort of however you want. Do formulas, which would be really cool, and so on. So that would be a really neat thing for Apple to add, is Numbers, embedding Numbers as your table format. And so those are some of the key things I would love to see in Apple Notes. The final app is Safari. Of course, I love using Safari. It's really great. The privacy is amazing. I prefer that over Edge or Chrome or any other browser out there. Brave is pretty good as well, but I always like staying in the Apple ecosystem. But one thing I would love to see both on the iPhone and iPad and even the Mac is a built-in ad blocker made by Apple, so you do not have to buy or have to get a third-party extension, even if it's free, to do ad blocking. And a lot of times, one thing is, if you have extensions, there's always a gimmick. And you know, a lot of times those extensions are collecting data on you and what you're looking at and all that. So it'd be really nice for Apple to integrate a built-in ad blocker right into Safari, so you don't have to worry about that. And a lot of times on the iPad, it seems like it really doesn't work even when you have web apps. So it seems like a hit and miss. The other thing would be really cool is like a guest mode for even Safari. So if let's say if Apple doesn't do a guest mode for the iPad, it'd be kind of cool to have a guest mode for Safari, so you can just flip profiles where people can't even access your profile and just go straight into guest mode. And to get out of guest mode, you'd have to type in a PIN or something like that. That would be a really neat thing in Safari. So those are some of the wish lists of items I would love for Apple to add both on the iPhone and iPad. If you enjoyed this video or want to comment on other additional features you would love to see in iOS 26 and iPadOS 26, throw it in the comments down below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and helps support the channel. And if you're interested in further content, click that bell notification to receive alerts when new videos are posted. Thank you so much for watching.